1868, the Martinellis were the toast of the town here in Watsonville. That's because they produced the best apple juice in all of California. And now, more than 135 years later, and they're still on top. That's because they've held true to one philosophy, that only the best apples will do. And luckily, they don't have to travel far to find those famous apples. The Big Apple. Back in the late 19th century, it wasn't New York, but the tiny Pajaro Valley town of Watsonville that earned that famous nickname. Because of their mild climate that included cool nights and warm days, the area was booming with hundreds of apple orchards, and soon it became known as the world's largest apple-producing region. A dull Swiss immigrant Stephen Martinelli needed to convince him that this is where he would start his apple cider business in 1868.
Stephen came over. It was natural that he would go hang out with his big brother, and so he was in the apple business, so he made cider.
Little did he know it at the time, but Stephen was starting what would become one of the most famous cider businesses in the world. Production starts with fresh apples being trucked in from local orchards and thrown into the hopper. They're then cleaned and inspected. The rule is, if they don't look good enough to eat, then they don't make it into the juice.
Well, we have a great relationship with our growers because it goes back so many generations. I mean, my great-grandfather was buying apples from their great-grandfathers.
Our company, my grandfather started it back in the 1930s, and we've been dealing with Martinelli's ever since.
From there, the apples are grinded and put through a machine that amounts to a large Cuisinart. They're then pressed, dumped into huge stainless steel tanks, refrigerated, and then bottled and pasteurized, all with a special Martinelli touch.
Well, I taste every day's production.
Here's a shot of my grandfather standing out in front of the old plant. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to convey the fact that we've been around for 4 generations and let people know that it's a family business, 4 generations. We make our product 100% from U.S. grown fresh apples, not from concentrate, and that makes this product special.
Despite nearly a century and a half passing in the history books, what started out as a small family-owned business supported by local farmers has actually changed very little in the decades that have passed. And for generations now, there has been only one name in the apple cider business, Martinelli's, something that doesn't look to change anytime soon.
They've made a big commitment to stay in this valley and buy the local fruit. So without them, I really doubt there'd be any apples left in this valley.
We all live in the same community. I coach growers' kids on the YMCA basketball team, and we know each other on a very personal level. Some of my best friends are apple growers.